Market Square Arena a few moments ago. Jim Gray talked with Jeff Van Gundy.
With Jeff Van Gundy outside the locker room as we get ready for the second half. Jeff, a lot of guys with foul trouble. How are you going to keep Johnson, Camby, and Houston in the game?
Well, we might have to gamble like we did with Allen at the end of the half and play them, and if they foul out, so be it. But we can't stay in the game without their scoring on the floor.
You've talked all along about hanging around. You feel you can steal another one here?
Well, if we feel good if we can get to the last 3 minutes. Getting to the last 3 minutes is the hard part.
Jeff, good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
Back out to you, Tom.
All right, Jim. Second half opens with New York in possession of the ball. Johnson to Dudley, who's fouled by Mark Jackson. New York opens with Chris Dudley, along with Larry Johnson, Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston, and Charlie Ward. Indiana's starting quintet is intact. That means Reggie Miller with Mark Jackson, Dale Davis, Chris Mullen, and Rick Smits, who once again has been totally ineffective.
Well, Dudley was back behind the three-point line, pantomiming his free throw, and we'll see how he goes here and gets anything out of it. But if you're going to get Dudley involved in the game at the offensive end, that Larry Johnson drive is the best way to do it. Draw the defense, get him the ball where he can see it, and carry it to the basket with two hands. That pantomime doesn't work.
Marcel Marceau is better at the line.
The Knicks, even though it appeared that they were badly out of it in the first half, they found that sunrise in that big storm that was above them. Dudley, make a free throw, please. The Knicks had more points in the paint, more second chance points, and more fast break points. That's called controlling tempo for New York.
Fast break points, 10-0 in favor of New York. Smits, only one bucket in the game. Rebounded by Allen Houston. Quick hit of Sprewell in front court. Pull-up shot. Got it. Maybe too quick a shot for Jeff Van Gundy's taste, but when it goes down and Sprewell's hot, what do you say?
You got to ride that, because that's the way Sprewell's really most effective. He's very streaky. Right now, he's on the boil. You got to stay with him.
Steve, he's also on the pace to play the entire game. Played the whole first half. Spitz continues to struggle.
Well, you remember in game 4, Marcus Camby started the second half. He's on the bench in favor of Dudley in this one. What would the reason be?
Now, he's got 3 fouls, plus he wants to get some energy off the bench. I think he thinks he can gamble. They get back-to-back too early from Sprewell and Houston. The crowd nervous here at Market Square.
Chris Mullen answers for Indiana. So Sprewell and Houston, the men that New York tried to get into the offense, open the third quarter with buckets, but Mullen cuts their advantage to 2.
But why not just play Camby the whole game? It's like you're playing with Sprewell here.
You know, but Sprewell's a guy that led the league a couple of years ago in minutes out on the floor. This guy is one of those guys that's tireless, and he can play an entire ball game as long as he stays out of foul trouble. Camby is a guy that if he picks up the fourth, they have no shot blocking in the middle.
Talking about no rhythm. There's the isolation game, which the Pacers have fallen back into, which was their game in the first 3. Now Houston is hot. Pacers are in trouble right now.
Houston and Sprewell come out firing to start the third quarter. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. 9:48 and counting.
Now, Steve brought up the Grateful Dead lyrics at the start of the show, and now you're bringing it back up. What is going on here?
Oh, this is a tough call against Sprewell, and this is Chris Mullen perhaps at his finest, sliding in and underneath and getting the call to go his way, because it looked like Sprewell did a great job defensively. Mullen's got nowhere to go, gets a little up and under, and Sprewell bails, and Mullen will go to the line.
Tough call there, but the nice thing about Sprewell's game tonight on the defensive end, Steve, he's not gambling. He's not getting beaten. He's playing discipline tonight.
Well, he knows from Golden State, where they were teammates, Mullen is very, very clever. And if you give him a seam, he will make you pay for having done so. So he's going to try to keep Mullen in front of him. Mullen gets both the free throws.
I'm still speechless about Bill being a Tennessee Ernie Ford fan. Oh. Allen Houston.
Watch out.
On fire. Allen Houston already with 3 for 3 in the quarter. And New York up 4.
And you've got Sprewell and Houston playing well at the same time, which was the formula for success in Atlanta when they won the first 2 games on their way to their sweep there.
Reggie Miller fell down, and they're going to call somebody with a foul.
Yeah, Charlie Ward's going to get this one, but this was not against him. But you can see Allen Houston out of position, but I got that feeling.
He's in the zone, Steve. I mean, he sees it, and it's all happened. The biggest thing here, Houston tripped. How is that a foul?
Stepped on his foot.
That's not Charlie Ward's fault. A lot of other things have been.
Dudley is bleeding. Obviously, he's going to have to come out of the ball game. He's trying to say, that's not my blood. Well, they're going to get him out of the game anyway. And Kurt Thomas is going to come in.
You know, there have been a lot of fouls called in this game, averaging in the first half 1 every 42 seconds. What's that doing to the flow of the game?
It's bogging it down, but that's been a directive from the league office about let's tighten this thing up and not have it become a slugfest and that sluggish, brutish basketball that has sometimes plagued the NBA in recent years.
But again, it's up to the players to adjust. If they're calling them tight, you got to make them adjust. Jackson rolls this one in over Allen Houston.
Houston, remember, playing in foul trouble, and Jackson trying to take advantage of it. Allen has 3.
It was that attempt at the end of the first half to try to pick up that fourth that took the Pacers out of their game.
Houston. Miller might have gotten a piece of that one. His first miss of the quarter after he hit his first 3, and Indiana with the ball and a chance to tie.
Smith's got really banged hard trying to get that low post position. Here's that isolation again.
Ward flops.
And he's not very good at the flop.
No, he's not nearly as good as Reggie.
way too obvious.
Wait a second. You guys are on Reggie here. That's a mistake.
What?
That guy is a phenomenal defensive player, Reggie.
You know, they have the big man camp. Could they have a flop camp? Would that be?
They just closed down some of those shows on Broadway after the Tonys didn't bring in the record crowds that they were hoping for.
9 on the clock for Smith.
Missed the layup, but there's Mark Jackson to put it home.
Now that will hurt Van Gundy. You can't have Mark Jackson, one of the smallest guys on the floor on the offensive glass. He's got 4 points, ball game tied up again.
Houston and Springwell, the only 2 Knicks to take a shot in the quarter. That one misses, and Indiana now can retake the lead.
The crowd is trying desperately to get into this game. The team has given them nothing to cheer about as they turn it over yet again.
Reggie Miller cut a different way than Mark Jackson expected, and Jackson's pass sails into backcourt and then out of bounds.
This is Jackson a couple of plays ago against a bigger Allen Houston. Takes his time, gets it up a little bit higher, dances it in over the rim, and then it's Smith on the drive, and watch Jackson get great position and the follow.
But that's when you know you're a player. When you can beat guys who are bigger, stronger, younger, can jump higher, got long arms, and you're just busting them in their face.
Allen Houston gives it up to Thomas. Missed it right underneath. Here's Miller to Mullen. Fouled by Sprewell.
That's a good play by Sprewell not to let Mullen get that ball up above his head, but nobody gets into this seam to get the rebound. Reggie Miller does, and this is what you do when you get fast break basketball. Push the ball ahead. The defense is not going to be able to get there by a foot quicker than the ball goes in the air.
Sometimes you have to just let him go, though. He picks up his 3rd foul now. He only had 1 at the half. I would have let that go because Mullen is an unbelievable free throw shooter.
Tune into this 1-hour NBA special for a recap of some of the most compelling storylines in this NBA season. And as the WNBA tips off its 3rd season, 2 of the league's top rookies, Shamiqua Holdsclaw and Natalie Williams, are spotlighted. That's NBA at the Finals, an NBA special, Sunday at 5 Eastern here on NBC. Well, the first Pacer fast break points of the night are the 2 free throws by Chris Mullen, and it gives Indiana a 2-point edge. Larry Johnson, and 1.
As tough as Larry Johnson makes these shots, he makes this one even tougher because he always likes to spin away from the defense. Comes in, he knows he gets hit, then brings it down and finds the right spot of the glass. And Larry Johnson trying to work his way into the ball game. He was handicapped by fouls in that first half as well. And Van Gundy needs him out on the floor trying to break the tie with this 3-point play.
Who'd they call that foul on?
They called it on Rick Smits, and it's 3rd on Smits.
Smits was standing there like the monument in Monument Circle.
I agree. It was a tough call for him. He was just there with his arms raised. There have been a number of those on both ends of the court tonight. Tough shot by Miller, rebounded by Houston. He set sail for the other end. Thomas looking for the pass, can't get it to him. So Allen Houston takes an ill-advised off-balance shot.
but he has to shoot with this lineup. I mean, yeah, you could get maybe a better one, but that's a heat check, Tom.
Miller passed it to himself. That's a pretty good trick.
Ball bounced off the defense. That's the only way it could be legal and catch it, and he scored. But no, Allen Houston can take and should be looking to take better shots, particularly in transition. He can get a shot that's going to be a higher percentage than that runner that he just missed. 8 on the clock for Larry Johnson.
He's found some energy here, Steve. Let Larry Johnson get to the hoop again, though.
He's got a bigger Dale Davis on it. You would think he'd be able to get around him instead of shooting over the top as he did there.